All right, guys, listen, welcome to our Relentless team call. I know you guys aren't used to seeing my face when we get started. Our executive sales director, Miss Myra, she is celebrating her son's birthday, but she is still on. And so we do this call every Tuesday. And this is to train our agents. You know, we want to give back. We want to show you guys exactly what it is, how it is that we became successful. But not only that, we want you to avoid some of the mistakes and some of the potholes, you know, that we ran into. And so if you can avoid that, guys, you become successful a lot faster. And a well-trained team is a well-paid team. And, you know, you notice that us, the leaders, we never miss a training. Why? Because we know how important it is, guys. So we always like to start off our calls with recognition. And so what I'm gonna do, guys, is go over our top 10 list. Now I'm looking at our top 10 list now, guys. There are a lot of new people in here. I love to see that. But I want you to picture your name at this top 10 list. I remember when I first got started and I would listen, we used to do the top 5 back in my old company. And I knew I always wanted to be on that top 5. And I would work to get up there. And finally, you know, about a year into our company, I was on that top 5 list. And, you know, everybody could be there. I remember our number 1, who is Mr. Bruno Floridor. I remember when he got started and, you know, he was never on the top list. He was learning and learning and learning and learning. And now you guys see him, you know, on the top week in and week out. All right, guys. So this is our top 10 list. First, I'm going to start with our top customers. These are the people that are out there sharing the protection plan. All right, helping people fix their credit and just live better lives. All right, guys. So at number 1, our Vice President, Bruno Floridor. Number 2, Miss Tina Love Alone Foster. Number 3, Miss Jandra Baez. Number 4, Anthony Winters. Number 5 is myself. Number 6 is Deontay Isery. Number 7, Rosario Salazar. Number 8, Boss Lady Raisa Otero. Number 9, Maria Camarillo. And number 10 is Ciani Piera. Guys, go ahead and shout it out for those names. Those are the people growing our protection plan. Those are the people helping people win. The next list, guys, we're going to go with the most agents. Okay, our top 10 agent count. Starting off at first is Angelia Tolito, Carlos Escavilla, Miss Tina Lovelow Foster, Chad Sanchez, Miss Zandra Baez, Miss Dominique Green, Boss Lady Raisa Otero, Miss Erica Morales, Anthony Kelly, and Miss Cynthia Dilworth. Guys, so go ahead and light up in the chat for those agents. They're doing a phenomenal job out there sharing. We are 2 weeks. And if I go to number, especially, I tell you Bruno's number, y'all wouldn't believe it. Matter of fact, I'm about to play that song. We played it at our presentation because y'all know about Bruno. We don't talk about him. All right, the man, the myth. You know, it's like Sam Mufasa. You know, he just, you know, shakes. For all you see, all you people over 30, y'all know about the Lion King. All right, so I'm dating myself. All right, guys. But anyway, guys, we want to welcome you guys to our team training. Myself and Executive Vice President David Marquez and all of the leadership group, we get together every Monday and we decide, hey, what does the team need? And so last week we decided to do our power presentation. And what we want to do, guys, is teach you guys exactly how to present this information, how to present yourself, okay, to make this as easy as possible. Because when people believe in what you're saying, when you can present the information with confidence, you know, this starts to become simple. It starts to become easy because not only do they know what you're talking about, but when you present the information, it gets stuck in your head and you start to believe it as well. And so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and then we're gonna get right into training. There we go. And David, let me know when you can see my screen.
I see it starting to share, and there it goes. Yep.
All right, guys, so welcome to our power presentation workshop, guys. This is week 2. Now, the goal, let me go and mute the lines real quick. All right, guys, the goal, okay? The stated goal for our power presentation workshop is for you to become independent as soon as possible, all right? Build confidence as a presenter and create massive duplication, okay? So that is the goal for our next 5 weeks. And the key point of that is to create massive duplication because you're only one person, guys. So you only could be one place at one time. But when you have multiple people presenting and a team out there working, guys, that is true duplication. And so as an individual, guys, here's the payoff. As an individual, when you become a world-class presenter, you won't have to worry about money for the rest of your life. I mean, how does that sound? Not to have to worry about money for the rest of your life, guys. If that sounds good, go ahead and throw one in the chat. Because that's what it's about. It's about, you know, that time freedom, because when you can do that, then you can reach back and help others. As a group, you can teach this to your organization by having a team duplicate this. Right now, guys, we have 124 people on here. I want you to imagine right there, especially if you're that new agent or if you're even that sales director, imagine having 124 people on your team presenting this information. I mean, that's crazy. That is why our leaders have that duplication, guys, because they've grinded, but also poured into us. And we're pouring into you because we want you to have that duplication as well. But most important, guys, to build confidence and create massive action, increase the number of presentations, and instill passion and promote independence and growth. Listen, when people feel empowered, okay, when they feel like they know what they're talking about, when they have the confidence, when they can share their story, when they believe in the product, the service, our industry, guys, that's when your organization blows up. That's when people get that confidence to go start new markets, okay, to do presentations, all right, and your income is not dependent on someone else. And so this is what we're based off, guys, the execution workshop, all right? And I want you guys to look at that, okay? And it starts with telling your story. We went over that last week, and we're definitely going to recap that because as you can see, that is the largest building block of the power presentation, the 5 presentations. When you can tell your story effectively and people can say, hey, me too, and they can relate to you and believe in you, then the rest of the presentations build on it, okay? Week 2, all right, this is what we're going over this week, the perfect opportunity presentation. Then we have the getting started skills presentation and the signature talk, all right? And so we got the perfect business presentation, week 2, guys, that's what we're gonna start. But first, we are going to go ahead and we are going to recap. Now, I want to ask everybody to play all out. I want you to have your notebooks. I want everybody taking notes and taking screenshots, okay? Because the reason why we go over telling your story the first 3 weeks, because we want to embed it in you because it is so important. I want you to think about every time you guys hear me present or you hear David present or our RVP, Ms. Ray Sotero, or our SVP, Xavier Marrero, we always start with our story because we want people to relate to us. And so that's why we talk about it so much. This is the building block. This is that cornerstone of every great presentation. Is telling your story, becoming relatable. And so guys, here's the 4 parts of telling your story. And I want everybody to go ahead and write that down or take a screenshot of this, okay? Your background, what you didn't like about it, the solution you found, and how you feel about the future. That is the framework. And so we went over this last week. I was looking back at some of the videos that they post up and then looking at our presentation power workshop Facebook group. And just to see how far people have come, how you're getting out of your shell, all right, how you guys are selling your 1.0, and you're going to upload your 2.0, just seeing the growth on it. It has been phenomenal. It's been amazing. But here's the key. You have to participate. And before we go into the next session, I'm going to let David go ahead and break in and see if you can say anything about that.
Absolutely. So I want to give you guys an example because you can tell your story in, 30 seconds, in 2 minutes. But a lot of people start off telling their story in about 10, 12 minutes. So we kind of recapped it for those of you that just jumped on, or even if you're brand new and you missed it, now's your time to actually participate. And, it's one thing to take notes and to study this. It's another thing to actually apply it, right? We say it all the time. Knowledge is in power. Application of knowledge is the power. And so I want everybody to understand. I'm going to share mine before we break out so you guys understand how simple I can do it in under a minute, right? So starting out with the background, for those that don't know, my name is David Marquez. I DJ'd on the cell phone repair shop, and I really, I loved it. I love the fact, free drinks, food, and having the party, being the party of the life of the party. However, I was time broke. We know children spell love TIME, and that's something that I couldn't give my kids. And so I was looking for something, and I found it, right? Through this unique opportunity. But now I not only have that time freedom with my kids, but more importantly, I get to share this with others and impact other families. And so my goal is to help impact 10,000 families over the next year. You see, that was about under a minute. So you can really touch all 4 parts and not get into full detail. I want everybody to remember this. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And just remember the key parts. Your background, the most important part is going to be what you didn't like. And then obviously the solution, and then you're going to go straight into the future. The future is your vision. Cast that vision, and I guarantee you people are going to want to know what you do. So I'll pass it back to you, Arnold, so you can go ahead and break them into the groups and give them the assignment.
So absolutely, guys. And so, like I said, I want everybody to go ahead and take a screenshot or write this down, because what we're going to do, and this is a lot of fun. Now, first thing, when we go ahead and we break you guys out in the groups, okay, I want you guys to remember, this is a safe space. Okay, we're going to go ahead and give feedback. We're going to go ahead and give encouragement. Now, we're going to do this in under 15 minutes. Okay, we're not going to take a lot of time, but we want everybody to have a chance to do it. And so we see the people. And here's the thing is, guys, I'm going to focus on the people that are here, the people that are staying on. Listen, if you said when you joined our company and when you joined this industry, you said, hey, I want to do this for time freedom. I want to make money. I want to give my family, my children, people the life that they deserve. Well, in order to do that, you have to participate, okay? We're giving you the tools, but when we give you the tools, guys, you got to work with them. You know, when I was in the military, they gave me a weapon, they gave me a gun, but if I wasn't trained on how to shoot it, I might as well not have had it. And so we give you this platform, the company gives us this platform in the industry, but guys, if we don't train on how to use it effectively, then why even do it, guys? And so listen, play all out, okay, participate. But what we're going to do, guys, is going to choose a moderator to keep time. Each person has 2 minutes to go ahead and tell their story, give 2 minutes of feedback. And here's the criteria. Did they capture your attention? Did the story connect with you, or did you get lost? All right, guys. And so listen, positive criticism, positive feedback. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. That way I can go ahead and break everyone out into the breakout rooms. And then, guys, let's participate. All right. You should have a leader in each room. If not, somebody else go ahead and take charge. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing done. So I'm about to break you guys up now. And everybody go ahead and join your rooms. All right, come on, guys. Should nobody left in this room, go ahead and join your room. Everybody should have gotten an invite. All right, guys, let's go ahead and join a room. Even if you can't participate, you can't turn on your camera or participate. Go ahead and get in a room. That way, you guys can go ahead and listen and take notes. All right, we have 18 people in here. We really shouldn't have nobody in this room. It pays to play all out, guys. Walter, I am looking for you. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can put you in there. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to join the room and participate. Everyone should, you should have an invite, and I'll see you guys back in a few minutes. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Listen, if your room was anything like mine, we had an amazing time in there. Throw
Yes.
some fire in the chat, guys, if that was helpful.
Yes, if we got some time today, I got a couple that I can throw on there that shared some powerful stories today. It was dope. It was really good. Madeline, she crushed it.
Oh, well, Madeline's a veteran, though. Madeline's
I
been
already
on.
know. I said, how many times have you done this? She's like, oh, quite a few. And so, yeah, she crushed it. Carlos did phenomenal too. Just
Yeah.
everybody in the room did great. But, you have that one or two that just really understood. I mean, it was really hard to critique her. So,
That's when you got to nitpick.
yeah. Well, while we waiting, everybody throw some flames, throw some, put value if you've got value in this. If you're getting more than what you guys paid for, matter of fact, none of you guys paid anything, so you should all be typing value.
All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. And so, listen, I want you guys to hear from real people, okay? So we're going to bring two people on. I already designated one of the guys in my room. But David, go ahead. Who we're going to bring on is going to share their story?
Let's bring on Madeline. I want her to share it. She did a phenomenal job and she kept it away in 2 minutes.
Who we got coming on?
Madeline.
All right, Madeline, go ahead and unmute yourself. The floor is yours, superstar.
She able to unmute herself? We can't hear you, Arnold.
All right, Madeline, you are a co-host. Go ahead and share your story, superstar.
Okay, there I am. Hi, everyone. My name is Madeline Choi. Oh, geez, no.
All right. We don't want to embarrass you. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. My name is Madeline Choi. I'm originally from New York. I worked as an accounting clerk for the New York Stock Exchange. Got married, had my son, moved to Florida, bought my first house, had my daughter, and then what I least expected to happen happened. I became a single mom. And with that, brought a lot of pain. I had to work double hard. I worked from working office work, I went into doing labor work, just trying to make some extra money. And, within that time, my kids and I had moved 14 times with just about 2 years ago, we were homeless, living in a small garage. And then I found this. I found something that was going to be able to help me get out of the situation, to be able to retire at an early age and not have to worry about moving from place to place. And, it's got me super excited. I'm fired up because I finally found this and I could rest. That's it.
Wow, guys, great job. Go ahead and give her a clap. Throw some fire in the chat. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing. David, I'll go ahead and let you go and get some feedback.
Yeah. So obviously she did a phenomenal job this time. She did even better in our chat, but that's also knowing the fact that she knew there was over 100 people listening. So maybe that could have changed it up a little bit. But other than that, I mean, I think she did great. I would say her story is powerful. It relates. I know there's a lot of people that can relate to it. I would say maybe a little more vision at the end, maybe casting a little more. I know it was about her and the time, or getting her to retire early, but maybe closing more at the end when it comes to telling your future. But other than that, man, I think she did great. So yeah. I'll let you go ahead and add any, what you think.
Yeah, I agree. I listened to it. It's impactful. And, people can relate, when you share your vulnerability and you're not just the cool person in the front of the room or Mr. Presenter Man, when you show your vulnerability and people can relate to your story and they can say me too in it, that's powerful. And remember what we talked about last week, an ordinary story is way more impactful than that extraordinary story. All right, because people don't care about the person making, $1 million, living on the island. Okay, they want to hear about from that person that, hey, that struggle. Hey, I was that person that was homeless, or I was that person that was working 3 jobs and I was looking for something. I was looking for a way to spend more time with my kids, and this is the platform they gave it to me. That's the story that people want to hear. People don't want to hear about the Beamer Benz or Bentleys or anything like that. No, they don't care less about that. They're just trying to feed their family. And when you go with your struggle and your pain, and now this platform is taking you from where you're at now to even an extra $200, $300, $400 a month. Forget 5, 6, 10,000. That comes further down the line when you really get into it. When people can just see, hey, that gradual change, you're becoming that better person, you're becoming that leader. It's really impactful. So we're going to go ahead and leave it at that, David. We're going to go ahead. Let's go hop into the training. So
Awesome.
The floor is yours, and we're going to get into week 2, the power presentation, guys.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Can you see my screen?
I got it. I can see it.
Awesome. Awesome. So guys, this is week 2 to the perfect business opportunity presentation. This is also one of my favorite. This is powerful because why? You got to be an effective communicator. You shared your story. Now it's time to actually persuade somebody into finding value in what you have to offer them. So if you guys want to, I want to tell you guys a story, right? It's funny, right? I'm actually telling you a story about telling my story. And so what it is I used to watch the #1 income earners and even Arnold, from his last company. And I always noticed they kept it the same every single time. And I remember in that company, even with Alfred, when I first came over, and even Billy Scott, I would write down word for word what they were saying in their presentation. And then I recorded myself doing it, like reading it. And I would hear it over in my head, 500 times, listening to it while I lay down in bed. Not their voice, my voice, so I could critique it and get better and better. And so I was insecure, about, sharing it on the stage, or, I didn't feel like I was natural. Believe it or not, I was kind of introverted when it came to that. But this is what happened. This is really the mindset I had. I looked at it as if I got paid, if they were to pay me $100,000 a year just to do a commercial one time and know the lines, learn the lines. That's all I thought. And so I did, I treated it like that, and I never broke out of character. It was like me doing a presentation every single time, and I got better. And to me, that was it. That was the thing that switched to me. It was being able to treat this. Remember, it's the payoff at the end of the day. If you, like, every time I go on stage and do this, I'm not thinking in my head of doing it for anybody. I'm thinking of doing it for other people, because that's the payoff to me. So just think about that. And that's how I tricked my mind. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I want everybody to know that helped me get past my fear. And so with that, I'm going to jump straight into the second presentation, the perfect business opportunity presentation, right? And so it's really broken down into 3 parts. You got the introduction, the story, and the 5 key elements. Now, the story we've been practicing a lot on. I'm actually going to go over the 5 key elements. And the introduction, all the intro is basically stating in 30 to 60 seconds, what is it that's going to be worth their time to watch you, right? So in the beginning, you want to start and capture the audience's attention. So it could be like, hey guys, over the next, 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to be going over, whatever it is you're going to be talking about, which opportunity, right? America's, financial crisis, right? And how we have the solution for it. And then this is where you provide value, interest. You're basically giving them the expectations and the amount of time. Like I said, 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to go over. All right. So that's the introduction. Now, once you do that, you're going to do a pivot, right? This is an example of an introduction. Hello, guys. My name is David Marquez, and what I'm about to share with you today not only solves a huge need in the marketplace, but is also a solution to help with America's financial crisis. During the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you how to better your financial situation, to have more time freedom with your children, to whatever you want to put after that, right? That's why I put ... So you can take a screenshot of it. This is an example of how an introduction should be when you're standing up in front of an audience. And you guys that have attended PBRs, you know this is what we do. Today, we're going to talk about America's financial crisis over the next 30 minutes. You're giving them the expectations. But before I do that, let me tell you my story, right? Or let me tell you a little bit about me so we're not complete strangers. And this is how you pivot into your story. Now, we just practiced this. It's the second week now. We're going to keep practicing it. So I hope to see everyone's version 2.0, but I'm not going to spend time on this because we actually did it, right? And I did it earlier in the beginning, talking about DJing, didn't like the time freedom, found a solution, and now I get to help impact other people. So now that you finished doing your story, which you want your story, just so you guys know, to be really quick on here. Doesn't have to be a whole 2-5-minute story. You want it to be under a minute because this isn't the focal point. The focus is going to be the opportunity itself. And so what I loved about this business presentation, the perfect business presentation, and the reason why we called it that was because there are really 5 key elements when examining a business opportunity. You know, if somebody comes at me with a business opportunity, I always say this too in my presentations, I look at these 5 elements: the product or the service, right? The company, the comp plan, the support, and timing. Now, it doesn't have to have all 5, but if you do, then it's something magical, right? You should take it seriously. And so here's an example that you can say to pivot over from telling your story. You say, you know, what I learned as an entrepreneur is you should always do your homework and evaluate these 5 key elements when looking at any business opportunity. The reason why is you're setting it up for the audience to agree with you and say, yeah, does it meet these 5, things? And the reason why you're doing that is it's basically to see if they're drawing a mental candidate list while you're speaking, right? And I'll go into further detail with that so you guys understand me. But element 1 is going to be the product or service, right? There's really 4 questions that you want to, clarify on your product or service. In our case, it's going to be financial literacy, credit. It's going to be wealth building. It's going to be a lot of different things, but you really want to tap in on these 4. Number 1, is there a recognized need for it in the marketplace, right? How many, and this is where in my presentation, I always ask people, how many people in this country need credit? And then they all say everyone. So when I recap at the end, which I'm going to show you guys, I always bring it back to this. Is there a need for it in the marketplace, right? Does it meet that need? And this is where you want to put 3 to 5 data points. See, luckily for you guys, I'm showing you how to craft an opportunity from scratch, but our companies already did it. If you go to your UWE back office and download it, you'll see they have 3 to 5 points. We actually have 5, I think. We talk about number 1, the financial crisis. You guys see the guy holding his hands to his head, just being defeated. And so all of these are already in there, but this is to draft it. Does it meet the need? Number 3 is it priced to sell when compared to the quality of others, right? The competition. This is where we start mentioning, we don't mention company names, but there are companies out there that will charge you $1,500, $5,000 to fix their credit. And so we do a comparison between those companies. And then number 4 is it priced for profit margin, right? Is there money to be made in this? So you plug in those into your business opportunity, and this automatically starts creating a mental candidate list for all of your audience. I want everybody to know this. Not people that join, they don't join because they really focus on if there's 5 people that they know that will say yes to this. And so as you're talking, the moment they have their 5 in their head, they're getting started, right? And so this prepares them and helps you create a mental candidate list for your audience. So once you cleared the product, now a good
Let me hop in for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so guys, listen, I want you to go back a few slides though. I want you to go back into the beginning. Back one more, keep going. So here's, I want to make a huge point with this, guys, because this right here, you can get somebody locked in with this or you can lose them. All right, when we all know that humans have short attention spans and people are busy. When you set that expectation, and setting that expectation is key, all right? Especially saying during the next 30 minutes, I am going to show you how, or during the next 20 minutes. You guys notice when I do the back half, I always say, hey, if you can stick with us for another 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how it is that we make money with this opportunity. Time is something that we can never get back. And although maybe some people don't act like it, it is precious to them. All right, it's something that we never have again. So making sure that you start off, especially when you're in front of the room, presenting, letting people know the expectation of time is key. Now, if we go forward a few slides, guys, this is the science. You know, I remember in the military, they used to tell me to, you know, I was in Iraq and they said, hey, take a knee, point out and drink water. And I used to be like, why the hell am I taking a knee and I'm pointing out and drinking water? They would never explain it to me. They would just tell me to do it. I wanted to know the science behind things. I wanted to know the keys to the operation. And the way to do that, guys, is to study it, is to know, hey, what is it that I'm presenting? How is it that this thing is built? And so that's what we're showing you right now, because when you start to understand the science behind everything, it becomes a lot easier to present, and then you retain it a lot better. Does that make sense to everyone? Go ahead and drop a fire in the chat if that makes sense. All right, Davis, back to you.
Awesome. So yeah, so we're gonna jump straight into it now. We are on element 2, right? So now that we confirmed, right, that the product is there, there's a need for it in the marketplace and all of that. Now you are gonna talk about the company. And so this is a great transitional pivot example you can use. And after you talk about the product, to go into the company, you could say, if you believe the product is a solid offering, right? You can say, raise your hand, right? If you believe that there's value in the product, raise your hand. Now let's talk about the company, right? And how does it have what it takes? And so when you talk about the company, you want to make sure that, you know, does the company have what it takes to last in the marketplace, right? Between all these other credit repair companies and financial literacy companies and network marketing companies, right? This is where you would illustrate that. Does it have what it takes to deal with change, right? A pandemic, right? We all went through it. And obviously we could say our customer and agent count grew over 150% on both ends. This is where you could talk about that during the pandemic. While most companies were, you know, exiting and failing, we were thriving. So this is where you would brag about that. When it comes to experience, right? Does the company have what it takes? This is where you see, I'm going to give you guys a hint. We talk about the company's been debt-free since the inception. It's the same key executives. That obviously tells you we got experience. Do they have the money? We just said it. They're debt-free. Everything has been funded. And do they have the management experience? So this is the time to brag about the company. It's just where you would talk about any accolades, awards, accomplishments, achievements. And this is really just hyping up and edifying the company. So this is the second element, right? And so element 3 is going to be the compensation plan. And so there's 3 questions you really want to ask yourself when you're developing the compensation plan structure and making it make sense to people. Because people are going to ask these 3 questions in their head. Can people generate income quickly, right? Can you make money out the door? Well, first of all, we get paid every Thursday, direct deposit, right? And people can start making money literally this week and get paid for it next Thursday. Question number 2, with reasonable part-time effort, can you develop a reasonable income, right? Doing it part-time. This is the slide where you see them on the laptop on the beach, and it says you can do it from anywhere, part-time, full-time. And so this is kind of what that slide is elaborating on. And then question 3 is for serious people. Is there a possibility to make serious full-time income, right? This is where we start throwing in stuff like the R&R, you know, for people that are really serious about doing is setting up their retirement. So all of these are found already. Again, we put this up for anybody that has another, even if you have another business, this will help you generate a business presentation to have it come out perfect, right? And then element 4, this is the 4th thing, support, right? A good way to pivot on this one is by saying, if you feel confident about the product, right? The company has what it takes, and the compensation plan it sounds good, right? Now let's talk about the support, right? And this is where you're going to compare. I always do it in my presentations. I talk about traditional businesses normally are $36,000 a month. If you want a franchise, it's about $250,000 and up. You know, if you want a McDonald's franchise, a lot of people don't know this, is $1.1 to $2.2 million. And you got to work for the company, right? Before you can get that. You got to pay for your own payroll, research development. And then this is where I talk about my cell phone repair shop, how I had to be paying overhead, you know, electricity, the rent, and my own customer service, and then, you know, any training tools that I had to pay for to get certified. This is where I mentioned that, and then I compare it to the business opportunity that we offer. One, we provide everything. And you guys see this on the last slide when it says you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, right? It says turnkey business. This is where all of that is shown, just so you guys know next time. And so our company provides it all. We leverage time. We have customer and agent support. We even talk about the system. This is where I tell everybody system stands as an acronym for save yourself time, energy, and money. And this is kind of where you'll go over all of that. And then the last part, timing. There's a typo there, should be 5, but element 5 is timing. Now I love timing because, you know, in real estate, we always talk about location, 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 right? But in this business, in this profession, in network marketing, and just about in any business, it's all about timing, timing, and timing, right? And so this is where I talk about the timing in the company. And so this is where you want to tell a timing story, right? It doesn't matter how new or old the company is, right? For example, you can always tell a timing story. For example, Amway, Mary Kay, Primerica, a lot of companies out there that's been around longer than anyone on here. You know, they've been around 60, 70, Tupperware, right? A lot of companies been around 60, 70 plus years. Those are legacy companies. If you're going to tell a timing story on a legacy company like that, you can even say, we have stability long-term, right? This isn't a startup, you know, company. This is, we have what it takes, right? You can pitch that as your timing story. If it's something brand new, right? Like the company is like in their pre-launch phase, you can still brag about that by telling people, because we're new, you can capitalize on being, you know, first movers advantage, being able to get in. This is why I'll tell people about Microsoft. If you think about it in the 80s, if you would have dropped 10 grand on Microsoft, how much money would you be worth if it sat there, right? But if you drop 10 grand now in Microsoft, you're not going to see the same, you know, results. Why? Because of timing. And so that's where you could brag on being brand new. Now, we're in the middle. In case you guys are wondering, you can see where this finger is pointing. This was as of February 2020, last year. Excuse me, the year 2 years ago, 40,000 active agents. We are at 60, 65, I think, something like that, 1,000 agents. And so one way you can actually tell a timing story for our company is you can say, look, we're not a startup, so it's not risky like a startup would be, where they come in today and they're gone by tomorrow. You know, the company's, you know, got what it takes. They've been around 18 years, but then they're not an older company, like a legacy company, where it's already oversaturated, where everybody and their mama knows about it, right? And so I tell everybody this is why I show this S-curve, because when I studied business, you guys can research it. It's called the elliptical S-curve. And the DSA, the Direct Sales Association, talks about it. They look at all direct sales, multi-level marketing, and network marketing companies like this. They say the first 100,000 distributors, right? They split 80% of that company's wealth every single month. This is why you see them old ladies driving pink Cadillacs, right? From Mary Kay. because they started in this phase. But after 100,000 distributors, now it kind of matures. You can still make money, but it's a little harder, right? You're not going to be able to quit your day job because it's kind of oversaturated now to the point where, people are making money, but it's really those first beginners that started. And so what I loved about this is that our company, if you look, we were at the growth phase. We're still in the growth phase, and we're at 65,000. We still got 45. We're halfway, a little more than halfway up that S curve. This is what I would focus and share with other people. This is why it'll let them come in, and we call it FOMO, fear of missing out. So you tell a timing story. Hopefully you guys got it, understood that. But now that you did that, right, you're going to summarize everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to bring it? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, guys, when you look at this and the stats in network marketing, and this is companies, every company, no matter whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in credit, or if you're in fitness, if you are part of the first 100,000 agents in any company, all right, you make up 80% of the income. And I can't tell you how many people I've gotten to join just by letting them know that. Say, hey, listen, we haven't even hit momentum yet. Because even when you look at UCES, or back when we were called FES, there were a lot of people out there that we spoke to that never heard of the company. But we were a $200 million company. And you see, that's a great problem to have. And especially when you have a company that meets all of the elements that David was teaching you. I mean, we are solving a problem. You can make money. The timing is perfect, especially in the economy that we have today. You see, guys, we have such a special company and such a special opportunity because of the service that we provide. And what makes us unique is that there will always be a need for it. Until we start, paying money, it's paying in a different currency, and they decide they want to switch schools up and teach something different. Guys, listen, we will always have an audience. There will always be people that need our help. And if you can convey it just like I'm conveying it to you, to a client or to an agent, they start to think about that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This will always be a great market. People will always need credit. People will always need our help. Our financial system is all messed up. And when you can convey that, and then you could talk about these stats right here, I mean, it becomes a lot easier. Why? Because now you're able to present your point. You're able to get it across, and people can actually realize it and say, you know what, you're right. I'm ready to get started. And guys, that is the key to this whole thing. And so when you look at these elements and you look at the science behind our presentation, if you go and you scroll through it, now that you guys know, or you're learning, okay, the parts of a presentation and why it's structured in the way it is, you're going to look at it completely different next time. You're going to say, oh yeah, now we're bragging on the company. Oh yeah, this is the part when we start talking about, the need for it in the marketplace. Oh yeah, this is the part where we talk about timing. This is the part where we talk about, yes, you can make money in a very short amount of time by hitting core rank. And so now you're going to go back and look at the presentation a whole different way than you looked at it before. All right, go ahead, David.
Absolutely. So last thing I want to talk about that, guys, before we finish and summarize what we just went over, is I remember one of my mentors was talking about it like this. He said, imagine if I showed up in your living room and I chopped my arm off, right? And it fell off to the floor, right? And I ate a pill, swallowed a pill, and boom, it grew back. Are you in? And they would say, yeah, of course I'm in, right? It's like the magic pill, right? But then you drive home, right? You buy, this distribution to sell this magic pill. And as you're driving home, you see everybody with magnets, yard signs, billboards, people with t-shirts, right? Now, are you still in, right? Are you still hyped about it? And then about 50-50 people will say, yeah. But then you find out that you only get $1 per every magic pill sold. So now I got to find 100 people with missing limbs just to be able to make $100. Now, are you still in, right? So, and this is, that's an amazing product. Right? Out of the 5 elements, the product is amazing, but now you see, it don't matter how amazing the product is. If it does not have the value in the other 4, then it may not be a great opportunity. So I just want everybody to understand that. This is why we're going over this, to kind of help you guys understand it a little bit better. And I'm going to move forward. So in summary, you're going to summarize to your audience when you're doing the presentation, and you'll see us do it at the very end. We'll say, now you understand why I went from DJing, and this is where I have my transition at the very end of where I started and where I'm at now. And then I kind of recap. Now, the 5 key elements that we went over, do we agree that the product is great? Yep. Do we agree that the company operates with integrity and has what it takes? Yep. Do we agree that the compensation plan that I just went over is phenomenal? Yep. Does the support with customer support and all that, and the timing. And so I basically summarized it in front of them at the very end, and then I'm going to end with a call to action. And this is where you see the A, B, and C on our PowerPoint slides. It says, A, you want to become an agent, get started. B, you're interested, but you got questions, get them answered by the agent that invited you. C, you want to join the UCS services, right? And so this is where the call to action is created. It's already there for us to use, but you guys can also throw it in there when you're doing this online or on Facebook, or, if it's a group or an interview, you can do your own call to action. You could be like, look, to learn more, reach out to me. Here's my website. Here's my phone number. And so we like to end it with get back with the agent that invited you. But that's it, guys. That's pretty much the business opportunity presentation. And I don't know if Arnold wanted to throw anything back in there, but I do want everybody to know this is the time to create and take action. You guys know your story now. You're working on it. And now you know about the business opportunity and why we do what we do. So I'd like to give everybody an assignment, right? We do everything in assignments.
Yeah,
So
David, let me hop in real quick.
Yeah.
And so listen, when you start to get really good at this and you start to do it over and over and over, you could go ahead and stop sharing your screen. I'm not sure if if you have an assignment on here or not.
Yeah, the assignment's on there, but we'll wait.
Okay. When you start the first thing, I'm going to tell you guys a story. You guys hear me present, and I've been blessed now. I've been blessed to be able to present on stages in front of thousands of people, or just being able to talk on this camera. But I'm letting you guys know, my first presentation that I did, I remember like it was yesterday, guys. It was June of 2014. And I thought I was going to kill the presentation. I went to Express, got me an extra tight gray shirt. Got me some fitted pants, and I just knew I was going to do good. I got up in front of the crowd, and that light gray shirt turned to dark gray real quick. I started to sweat. I dropped the clicker broke. I didn't even finish the presentation. Luckily we had a guy named Mike who was a master presenter who kind of came up and cleaned it up after me. And so when you go from that to where we are now, the only difference is, one, I believe in the company. I believe in the industry. But two, I practiced over and over and over and over and over again. I got myself comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's what we need to do in order to achieve greater heights in anything that we do. And so if you guys want to become a great presenter, or if you want to, you don't have to become a great presenter. If you just want to be functional in presenting the information, we can teach you everything about it, but you have to go out there and you have to do it. You have to apply it. I love it when I see, new agents stepping up. We had our sales director, Crystal. She done knocked out 3 presentations in a row at our local meetings. And I just see how much better she has gotten over and over again. David was not a good presenter when I met him. David sucked. I'm letting you guys know. All right. He sucked. I used to tell Xavier, I used to be like, I don't know. David was not higher ranking people. I was like, listen, I don't know if we want to put David up there. I used to say that. He was like, yeah, but, and I tell you, if you look the way David is now, he's been in front of stage. He's been in front of thousands. Why? Because he just kept doing it over and over and over and over and over again till he became really good at it, borderline great at it. And so we're teaching you these skills. We're teaching you the science behind doing this thing. But the key is, guys, is to apply it. Like David said in the beginning, knowledge is power. The application of knowledge is power. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to work. You have to apply your craft. You have to get better at your craft each and every day. Because if you're not getting better, okay, you're not moving forward. And so work on it. I remember David was saying he listened to it. Guys, I got Bruce Lee Rochester's presentation. And I found it on YouTube. And when me and David started, I listened to that thing over and over again. I put it in my car, listened to it over and over and over again, because I wanted to see how it is that he conveyed it. I wanted to get better at it. And so that's what we were able to do. And that's when you have a business. That's when you start to duplicate. Because when you get up there the way you are right now and your team sees you doing it, they're like, hold on, if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. And then they start to believe in themselves. Why? Because you got out of your comfort zone. And that's when you start to duplicate. And so that's the whole point behind this, is to get you out of your comfort zone, to explain to you how it is to do it, but for you to build the confidence to go out there and do it. And even if it's a presentation of one, a presentation of two, get your team together and say, hey, let's go ahead and practice the presentation and mess it up. Have fun with it. All right? Bring some wine and cheese. Have fun with it. But as you do it, guys, you're just going to get better and better. I remember Bruno's first presentation. When I heard him talk, I didn't understand a damn word he was saying. I didn't. Okay. But now when you see him do it, he's one of the best presenters in our company, even with the accent. Why? Because he got out of his comfort zone, did it over and over and over again. You see, Bruno's income is not reliant on David anymore. It's not reliant on me anymore. It's not reliant on Xavier or anybody in the company. His income, and the reason why he's so good at what he do, because it's reliant on him, because he controls the narrative. He controls his business. Why? Because he can present the information, present it with confidence, and that way people believe in him. And people do business with who they know, who they like, and who they trust. People don't want to follow somebody that's timid, that's scared, that's unsure of themselves. Now, we all may start that way, or we may feel that way inside, but it's all about the actions you do. Guys, believe it or not, every time they tell me I'm going to present, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. And until that eye of the tiger comes on, I'm nervous. Once that eye of the tiger comes in, I'm zoned in, I'm rocky then. But every time, whether it's 10 people in the audience or it's 2,000 people in the audience, I am nervous. But I'm like, you know what? You can't let that fear take over. You got to get up and you got to do it. And once you start to do it, all right, then the fear and the nerves go away. So hopefully, guys, that makes sense. All right, I wanted to go ahead and share that story because, you know, we are no different than Madeline. We're no different than, you know, Michelle Sepultura Vida. And I don't know if I said your name right, but, you know, we're no different than Star Bryant. We're no different than Jade Wilson or Kadeem out here. There's no difference between us, especially when we started. It's just that we just did it over and over and over and over and over again. And it is true, guys, when you're the person in front of the room with the clicker, as you guys can see, you make the most money. Why? Because people believe in you. You set that example, and that's when people start to follow you. And so, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna give it back to David, have David go ahead and close it out. And, you know, we're gonna talk about next week as well.
Yeah. Also, guys, drop some flame in the chat if you guys got a lot of value. If you got your money's worth again, right? I know you ain't paying no money, so everyone should be throwing it up there. But I will say this. He was completely right. When I first jumped on that stage, man, I got up and my mind sat down. And it was like, oh, what do I do? But now, because of everything that I told you guys and showed you, we literally can have the power go out. And because we know product, company, comp plan, support, and timing, we can literally give the whole presentation just covering each one. Product. Okay, let me talk about that. So that's why this is powerful. And I hope you guys took notes. I want to give everybody this assignment right here. And this is the last thing. And I'm going to let everybody go. And then let me see. You're able to see it? You're able to see it, right? Okay.
Yeah. Dave, before you go, Walter is back on. And I want everybody to hear Walter's story. All right. Somehow he got off real quick. But before we go to Simon, Walter Gonzalez, all right. I honestly don't know whose agent he is, but he was in my room. And I tell you what, his story was so impactful and I really couldn't critique it. And there's not too many times where I can't critique something when it comes to telling your story, but it was phenomenal. So Walter, I would have made you a co-host. You can unmute yourself and go ahead and turn on your camera and just go ahead and share your story because I mean, it comes straight from the heart.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Walter, Regional Sales Director. Hey, I have been a successful realtor since 2004. In 2020, I saved my own life by going into a rehab 1,300 miles away from my home. I ended up in Los Angeles for 7 months. And at that point, I learned 3 critical lessons. One, I was killing myself physically. My lifestyle was very unhealthy. It was a touch and go there for a minute. Number two, I did not make any income in real estate, because in real estate, you have to physically work at it. If you don't make any money. And number three, I was not a great leader. I was selfish, always looking after the best for myself, never for others, and realized nobody was coming to save me. I was broke, nothing. Now I have found it. Freedom of time, able to work on things that I'm passionate about. I'm now healthier, happier, alive, and the blessings are amazing. I get to travel with the most amazing leaders. I run my business from my phone, my tablet, or laptop, and I help others find their why and get compensated very well. Thank you, guys. Walter.
Yo, throw some fire in the chat for Walter. I mean, that was phenomenal. When he shared this story with me, it was just impactful. And, it's from the heart. And I was telling Walter when I gave him some feedback, I said, what I love about it is your vulnerability. You didn't spend too much time in your pain, but we felt your pain because it was real. And he hit those key bullet points. When he said, I was selfish, I was broke, I was killing myself, living an unhealthy lifestyle. I mean, a lot of us can relate to that. As a matter of fact, I related to that. I remember I was doing the same thing, 10 years ago. And so I related to Walter, but when he said he found something, I'm like, wow, what did he find? How did he bring himself back? And he kept his found, or what he found, aligned with his pain, which was amazing. Now, I'm not sure how many times Walter has shared his story, but he said, I'm healthier, I'm happy. Okay, I'm able to go ahead and make a living working from my computer. And he said, I like to help other people. And so he killed all of the elements. Walter, great, great, great job sharing your story. I wanted to get you on here before we hopped off for you guys just to see, how it is to not, you just don't hear David's story, you don't hear my story, you don't hear Bruno's story, you're hearing, Walter's story. And that was my first time hearing Walter's story. He's a regional sales director, but that was my first time hearing it. And you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I share something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
This is the first time I've shared this. It's taken me a year and 6 months to really share it, like my true story. Meaning not like it's like over exaggerated, but it's always been so hard for me to share what I've been through. And anybody that's new right now, don't be scared. Don't wait like I did and miss out on a lot of other people, other agents that you can help.
Absolutely. And you know what, guys, that just comes with growth. I mean, that's what it comes with. It comes with growth. I remember David, before, when our last company, my story was a little bit different. I wasn't able to be vulnerable. I wasn't there yet. I wanted to be known as super soldier, as G.I. Joe. I wanted people to see that side of me. I didn't want people to see the vulnerability of it. I didn't want people to know that, at time I didn't have money, or, I shared one story before because it was true to me that I was an alcoholic a long time ago. And so, it all comes with growth, and growth comes with just being around great people. Because when you're around people that show their vulnerability, show they're not perfect, but you see them on their journey to becoming a better person, a better husband, a better wife, a better father, a better mother, better provider, better parent, you say, hey, you know what? I can do that too. And so now Walter feels comfortable sharing that story. Why? Because he knows his story can impact a lot of other people. So David, we've been dragging this on a little bit, but I just wanted people to see the value in that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Phenomenal job, by the way, Walter. That was very impactful. So I just want to give you everybody this assignment. Keep telling your story 3 times a day. Tell it to your dog, tell it to your neighbor, tell it to whoever you come across. It's only going to help you get better. And then number 2, the assignment is draft your business presentation, make it, tailor it, customize it, right? And then practice it by presenting it 2 times a day. And so I just want to show everybody this real quick, because this is the assignment. I want everybody to go as a challenge, go into your UWE or UCES protection plan, the actual PowerPoint, and look at the parts I'm telling you. This is where the company, look, which was element 2, after the product, the company. So right here, you would tell your story. And then here you would tell the company, this is where they brag, right? You brag on all the bragging rights that we just talked about. These are the importance of why it's important, right? To the value that we are building. This is what I was telling you guys about. So you can look at all of this and just remember what I was saying. And then what I want you to do when I say craft your own is basically this. Now here, you can put slides in, for your story as you're telling it. This is what I did. And then I tell them, the downside, the pain points. I wasn't happy. And then I told them I found something that removed my child support judgment, right? And then I talk about what the solution was. We ended up closing on our home, and then boom, now the future, helping impact more people's lives. So you can throw that in there in the beginning as you're telling your story. And then guess what? Now you go in to what you're going to talk about, the business opportunity. And so all of that is here, everything that we went over. I want everybody to, that's going to be a challenge for those. If you guys can go ahead and pull it up, it's going to help you get better, identify it. And next week, make sure you tell all your agents to jump on, because you're going to see your version 3.0. Everyone's story is going to become better. But most importantly, we're going to be covering the third presentation, which is going to be getting started. Now, getting started is a two-part, onboarding and launch. You guys are going to want to be here for that, because that's a conversation, but it's still a presentation. And so you're going to want to learn how to do that, because if you can process it and duplicate it, you guys are going to, you're going to see massive momentum coming out this 5-week calendar. So I'm super excited for all of you guys. Can't wait to see the post and hear your version 2.0. Hopefully you guys have, got a lot of value from this. And I don't know, Arnold, you want to close this out?
No, I think it was great. And, when you're downloading the presentation, identify the parts, in your mind while you're doing it, identify the parts. It's going to make it so much easier for you. And so if you have time tonight, go ahead and do it. Download the presentation. Like, oh, that's part 1. That's part 2. Oh, that's great. And so it just builds the confidence, guys. But like David said, next week is going to be very, very important, getting agents launched the right way. And we're super excited. We're super excited to see what comes out of this. The sales directors, the regional sales directors, the vice presidents, the field trainers, all that's built because now you guys can go ahead and apply the skills. So everybody have a great night. All right. Second week of the 5 week. Let's get it, guys. Get out there, do some PBRs, and let's change lives.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Lines are muted, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
By the way,
Good night. Good night.
bless fam. Good night.